Hey everyone, Pupsker here, and today in Warframe, we're going over the latest brand new Warframe Citrine, the Geode Gem Warframe. Technically, she is a quite invincible tanky support frame. She has support, she has damage reduction, she has passive health regen, she has great health and energy orb drops, a status applying turret, and she even has a stun that has a built-in 300% crit chance increase. So she's kind of a busted Warframe both for support and survivability with a splash of damage in there, right? So all in all, I think Citrine is like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 Warframe, all things considered. Her kit is really good and honestly no effort for solo steel path or group steel path. And as long as you throw some proper mods on her, yeah, she's really easy to use, so without further ado, hey, let's take a look at Citrine. All gameplay in the background will be just like random steel path or random gameplay along with my recording, so keep that in mind, you know, live gameplay. But this is how Citrine's abilities generally work. If you don't know where you can farm Citrine, you can farm her on Tiana's Pass on, I think it's Mars. You do have to complete Deimos, the Heart of Deimos quest to actually unlock the Tiana Pass game mode, and it's a new game mode, Mirror Defense. TLDR, run the defense, kill the enemies, pick up the little crystals around the map, and then you'll be good to go. If we take a look at her general abilities here, we'll see that her passive is straight up health regenerate. She has 5 HP regen by default, and it goes up to 25 HP regen per second. Each time you pick up a health orb, it increases it by 0.1. So you have to pick up like, 200 health orbs to have max health regen? I think that's how math works. So have fun with that, and if you die, it goes away, so try not to die. Seems simple enough, but her first ability has built-in health and energy orb drop chance. This makes it so that you can run Equilibrium on her if you so choose, and it's actually a great addition. By default, 50% health orb and 20% energy orb drop chance. I've modded it to be like a lot higher, so you get a lot of health orbs, meaning you get your HP regen fast AF. Damage on that doesn't matter, but hey, it is slash and I think impact, so could be worse. Second ability is God tier Inaros, God tier Nidus, God tier Revenant type invulnerability. Straight up damage reduction. You get damage reduction on kill and damage reduction on assist, and you pretty much just have to keep killing enemies to get damage reduction so that it doesn't go down. I think you lose like 1 damage reduction % a second, so constantly kill enemies. Having more strength means more damage reduction, caps at 90%, and more increasing damage reduction on kill and assist. So obviously this is her bread and butter for tankiness. Make sure it's always on, and make sure you're killing enemies so that you can actually build up your damage reduction. This naturally works really well in conjunction with her passive, and as you can see in the little screen there, it has the counter in the bottom right once you actually activate the ability, so not bad. Your third ability is straight up a turret that is built to kill the enemies by applying a ton of status. It does fire, cold, electricity, and toxic status chance, which means Archon Shard mods, are amazing on Citrine. It has really high status chance and really high status duration, meaning if you throw on some of your, like, let's say strength mods, get it to 200%, you're putting on so many different statuses on enemies all at once. It's insane. Throw on Archon mods to make it go even higher, right? This is her like bread and butter for casual damage. You just have to hit enemies and then the prismatic gem will go slap on them. So she's really good. 10 out of 10. I love it. Now her fourth ability, it is both CC and a damage increase, but the damage increase doesn't stack with strength. So yeah, you don't really want to build specifically strength on it. Here's what it does. Freezes the enemies, you shoot the big ass crystal that's on the enemies, and that damage is a 300% increased crit chance. So if you're building a red or orange crit type setup, you're using Citrine and you hit those, you're gonna get a ton of damage. Your crit numbers are gonna be insane. You're gonna like one-shot a ton of enemies. So in conjunction of general steel path Warframe gameplay, I would say Citrine is very, very strong altogether. So if I just have some enemies spawned up here, just so we can get a general look at her abilities, you'll see the very first ability, you just throw it at the enemies, and it hits so many of them with some range. And now these enemies have crystals above their heads. You can see like, oh, they're gonna drop a ton of health or energy orbs if I attack them. I'm like, my second ability is pretty self-explanatory. In the bottom right there, you can see health and energy per second. It just works. Throw down your turret. You'll see it's not attacking anyone yet because you need to attack them first. Now that crystal will start attacking people. It'll apply so many statuses, and that just makes it so easy to kill them. You'll see the status is destroying the enemies. I use my fourth ability. All these crystal fractals adds massive crit chance if you hit them. With my status turret chilling over there and using a crit status Exceltra, or sorry, crit weapon Exceltra, you'll see just damage is high, okay? Damage is high. You're not gonna have to worry about that, and you're good to go. So her kit overall just works really well with solo play and group play. It has a little bit of everything, right? You have your damage on your 3 and your 4. You have your support heals on your 2 and your 1. And you have your tankiness and vulnerability pretty much on your 2 and your passive. So while she doesn't have like map nuke, she's not like a Saren level of nuking the map. She has good just stay in place, camping, defense, and damage in general. So that's the general use of how to use Citrine. If we look at my current build on her, we'll see like it's built for what I like to use as always, nothing more, nothing less. I wanted to get at least 200% strength so that my like preserving shell could get to 80, but I went a little higher, so it'll be even higher. Instant 90% damage reduction, it's really nice. Archon Energize because I'm lazy, you don't need it, but I'm lazy, okay? And I always have that on. You could do more health or more ability, anything if you so choose. Also Molt Augmented for even more ability strength. This makes it, if you have Molt Augmented, that like maybe you can take off Intensify if you don't want it, throw on Equilibrium, maybe throw on more efficiency if you so want it. I don't feel like I need any sort of efficiency. That's why I don't have Equilibrium on or any more added efficiency other than Streamline, but it's on a case-by-case basis. I still use up a ton of my energy draining when I use Crystallize. Pretty much as 100% drains all my energy, but Warframe's bugged right now, so you can't actually see the energy drain there. I was talking about Archon mods earlier. I have these 3 Archon mods on to take full advantage of her third ability, Crystals, and just add a bunch of utility. This is a very expensive build, but that is what it is. I have Adaptation on to work with the damage reduction to just never die, hopefully. I would say Adaptation over Rolling Guard, but Rolling Guard is more to get you out of sticky situations so that you can reapply buffs and change around things so you don't die, right? Corrosive Projection because I'm lazy, throw whatever you feel like on there as always, but I like just Corrosive Projection. Cunning Drift because I did want more range, both on my Crystallized Prismatic Gem and my Fractured Blast. So I also, you know, Stretch helps there. I do need to get some more levels in my Archon Stretch and Vitality, but it's just health and range, so doesn't matter too much. Archon right here, or sorry, Augur Message, because I wanted more duration. This can also be swapped out if you don't feel like running it to really whatever you want. Maybe Equilibrium instead. Swap out the Augur mod. You know, it'll work pretty well, but let's go take your girl Citrine on a general Steel Path run, little Void Mont Steel Path run, to see how she generally does with this build. It's good, and as always, you do have to pay attention because you can still get like clapped here and there, but yeah. As always, if you enjoy the video, sub, like, and check out all the socials. I stream all the time, anywhere, wherever I feel like it, and all of the social medias are in the description. There is too many, so let's go check out Steel Path. Okay, so now that we're actually in Steel Path and we're waiting for enemies to spawn up, we're going to want to throw our damage reduction on once we actually see some enemies spawn in. Good, perfect. So throw your damage reduction on, throw out your crystal, and then hit them all with your first ability. And that is how you essentially start using Citrine. You have high range on your first ability, hopefully, so that you can hit a good wide array of enemies. And then once in a while you pop your fourth like that, and then you hit the crystal enemies and they all just melt instantly. The Exceltra, even though it's a strong crit weapon, it's been weaker these years compared to a lot of others. So how about we just camp in here? The only thing you really have to watch out for is your damage reduction. You gotta make sure your third and your second ability are always out there, so you're always damaging and critting and killing enemies, right? But this is the general playstyle IMO of my Citrine that I like to do. Just run around, always hitting your first ability, and always shooting the enemies. You have high enough range, so just like YOLOing it into the forward, you're gonna hit enemies. Like, look at this. Hit a ton of enemies in front of me, massive range, and then once in a while, if there's like a lot of enemies, just go like YOLO, and then just yeet down your crystal fractals. You'll see people are frozen. They're taking insane crit damage, 32,000 casually with like a random Exceltra bullet, right? Good stuff, good stuff. Then you can freeze them more here if you want, right? Oh, look at that. No one's gonna live. The one thing again is you just gotta watch out for your DR, because my DR just ran out there and I didn't notice quite fast enough. And just replace your crystal. Do that once in a while and you're good to go. That's why it's nice having that added range, so you definitely do want Archon Stretch, IMO. It's great. And you can see all of the energy and crystals just thrown around. And already I've gotten so many health orbs because my HP regen is at 14.4 per second. So realistically, the only way I die is when I don't pay enough attention and I get hit by a nullifier type enemy, or my damage reduction runs out and I don't notice. But oh my, the drops on the enemies are so good and you get so much loot that you're just good to run. Ooh. Half the time you're stunning the enemies and throwing them in your little crystal area so hard though that they just die off and they can't even escape. Look at that. The Exceltra is a good crit weapon with a low overall damage, and it just shreds with someone like Citrine right now. Oh, see, and there we have an Eximus unit, right? Let me see. And we can see that I have been stripped of all of my energy. So, yeah, there are still annoying enemies out there, right? Leechers, sappers, nullifiers. There's still annoying enemies that you might want to have a better weapon than just the Exceltra on for. But hey, you do you. Right? We're still good. Just a little more annoying for sure. Oh well, it is what it is. Then once we get those back down, we get some more health. Yeah, we'll just be fine. Ah! Right, and then you pop that, and then enemies are just all done. Guardian Xmas, right, we'll just kill off those guys. Since this is Steel Path, also have to watch out for the Acolytes, because they just strip you of all your abilities depending, or sorry, all your buffs, so gotta watch out for that. But the Acolytes get just destroyed by your turret, so it's not the worst, TBH. Not the worst. I think you can stun them properly as well. And he died already. Yeah, so as you can see, Citrine is a pretty great Warframe, depending on how you like using her. If you like Equilibrium, go for it. It gets you a ton of free stats. It's just, you know, not something I'm using. I just feel like people are like really weird about builds online sometimes. And they're so like diehard, you have to use this or you have to use that, and I've always been the opposite. This is Warframe, do whatever you feel like. It's a really casual game where you can have any sort of fun build or min-max build if you so choose. But you like by no means need to do that. So yeah, that's how I've always looked at the game. I throw on a build that I like to use for how I like to play the game, and then I just go buck wild. The first ability would be so much more OP if it also increased drop rate, or like drop chance, but that would just be too ridiculous, so good thing it doesn't, right? Be a little too good. Yeah, and that's how you play Citrine. You walk around, you murder everyone, crit or not, you still are gonna just murk the shit out of the enemies, so I really like her turret. It's not the same as Protea turret. It's similar, of course, but it's not the same, and I actually kind of like that they have like multiple different styles now of auto turrets in the game, even when they said, oh, we're not going to have auto turrets in the game. Yeah, okay. But yeah, that's Citrine. I appreciate everyone watching the video. If you're watching on YouTube, check me out on Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the social medias. I have the Epic Game Store creator code Pupsker if you ever buy anything Fortnite Warframe on the Epic Game Store. Helps out, so thank you, I appreciate it, and I will see you all next time. Peace.